Alright, what's up, Summoner? SoloRenektonOnly. I told you guys I'd get a build out to you with runes, masteries, and items, obviously. And I'm going to do that now, so I hope you guys enjoy. I've been running this build for 3 days now. I grinded from D2 up to Masters, so it's been working pretty well for me. I think overall I'm like 17 and 4 or 18 and 4 or something. Something around there with Renekton. Uh, Very powerful. I feel like he's in a great spot in the meta right now with the return of Ignite top laners. I think he's obviously king of that. So with the item build I found in the runes and masteries, I've been performing really well. So I hope to pass that along to you guys. So pretty much still running 18-12. I've messed around with the masteries a little bit. I've opted for Perseverance over Insight. Perseverance is going to give me a much better early game and a much better laning phase in general. And I feel like the game is completely reliant on winning lane and winning early game because the games end so fast and it's very snowbally. So if I'm able to beat my lane opponent and take tower, all of a sudden I can snowball the entire top side of the map. I can take the Baron buff type thing called Herald or whatever, and then I can take second top tower, I can take mid tower, I can light up their entire jungle with wards. You know, this is very, very strong for that. So it's going to keep you alive with a lot of health regen. People underestimate how much it is. At level 1, Renekton has 8 health regen per 5. You get an additional 2 from recovery, so that's 10. And then you get 50% of that. So at level 1, we're already at 15 health per 5. That's very strong when you do these early all-in fights, right? If I do an early all-in fight, both of us back away with like 100 health or something, all of a sudden this kicks in to 200%, and I'm getting 30 health per 5 at level 1. Runic Armor maybe bumps that up to 32 health per 5. So I sit back for maybe 20 seconds, and all of a sudden I got, 128 health. Like, that's pretty ridiculous. I've had matches where I was against a Darius. Both of us got really low in a level 1 fight. I had like 100 health. He had 100 health. I ended up with like 400 by the time he got to 200. So I think Perseverance is very strong. Allows you to stay in lane longer than you typically should be able to. And obviously Insight's very strong, but you don't really you can't really feel the effects of it, right? I can feel the effects of Perseverance. I can't really feel the effects of Insight. And then sometimes you don't even use it, right? Like sometimes you might not flash in lane at all. You know, it could be a while before you even use a summoner sometimes. So you're not really getting effect out of it. If you're ever below 100% health, you are getting effects off of this off of this mastery. So I feel like it's just better in terms of that. So let's hop in the runes. The basic premise with our runes here is we want 10% CDR. That's like our goal. I mean, the other stuff you have doesn't really matter. If you like armor pen, if you like scaling health, whatever. So against AD, I like this page where I get 10%. So I get 7.5 flat from blues and then 1 quint, which gives me 2.5. So I get 10%. Obviously, the other 2 quints are attack damage and obviously armor yellows. So this is my page against AD. Against AP opponents, I like to get a little bit of magic resist, just a little bit. I don't feel like you need 12, so I'm happy with just 4. I get 3, and then 5% flat blues, and then 1 scaling quint. So this gives me that 10%. 5 of it's flat, 5 of it's scaling. Still hit that 10% mark that we're looking for. We drop 2 AD. That's not a big deal. And we get 4 extra magic resist. So this is the page I use against AP. This is the page I use against AD. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. If you like some armor pen, go ahead and splash that in. If on the page against the AP opponents, you want to opt instead of a lot of armor, like maybe you're against Rumble, right? You can drop some of the armor and get like health or health per level. Like that's an option you can do. Honestly, I don't really feel like I need to do that min-max that hard, so I'm fine with just running these 2 pages. So let's hop into the juicy bits, the build itself. Okay, so the new Tiamat, I love it personally. I like that it's cheaper. That means I can buy it earlier. I can start animation canceling earlier. That's like the perfect situation for me, right? And the passive removal is actually really good. I like that a lot. I one of the major drawbacks I used to complain about the old Tiamat was, man, I love Tiamat, it does so much damage, but this passive is so annoying. I wish I could turn it off because I like to maintain control of my minion waves. And when you have a Tiamat passive constantly proccing every time I auto attack, it's very difficult to do so. So without the passive, I think it's a more attractive item. At the cheaper cost, it makes it even earlier of a buy. I think it's just an all-around amazing item on Renekton right now. So I don't see any build that would not have a Tiamat rush in it. After Tiamat, I think Black Cleaver is the way to go. They made it even more attractive item for Renekton, increased the AD, dropped the health by a little bit. Really good. I mean, it was already one of the best items you could build on Renekton. It just made it even better. So you get 300 health off of this, which is really nice. And this is going to be the important part because we're getting like quasi damage, quasi tank items. Like they're half and half, right? That's like the whole point. So you get half tank, but you get still that damage, and you end up doing a ridiculous amount because your health that you're getting actually turns into damage, which is pretty great because Titanic's pretty OP. So after we get the Black Cleaver, we go for the Ravenous. Excuse me. We go for the Ravenous Hydra. The reason we're going for Ravenous Hydra instead of Titanic first is we want lifesteal. It's very important at this point in the game to have some form of lifesteal. So Ravenous Hydra is going to be great at this point. And then the second we get, so it's going to look something like, let me find a game. So the second we get the Vamp Scepter, right? So we have our Ravenous Hydra and our Black Cleaver. Once we get the Vamp Scepter that goes into the Death Stance, we swap over to the Titanic. So all of a sudden we get all this extra health, 450 extra health, and then it's, we get 300 extra health from Black Cleaver. The health amplifies the damage, and then we have our lifesteal item from the spell vamp, or from the Vamp Scepter, sorry. That's going to be built into the Death Stance. So that's when we switch it over, because we want to maintain lifesteal in our build. I think that's pretty important, but I definitely think the Titanic Hydra Black Cleaver combo is stronger than the Ravenous Hydra Black Cleaver combo. Yeah. So after you get the Vamp Scepter for the Death Stance, obviously you want to finish Death Stance. Death Stance in and of itself is an amazing item on Renekton. Both passives are ridiculously strong. You got a semi-defensive passive, which even helps our offensive build even a little bit more. Once you have these three items, you get CDR capped, and all of a sudden you do a ridiculous amount of damage. Because you get CDR capped, so all your spells are really low cooldown, and then every spell that you do does, every spell that you do gives you lifesteal or spell vamp, and then obviously applies Black Cleaver stacks. So all of a sudden you're like stacking everybody, and an empowered W with Titanic Hydra activated beforehand does about 1400 damage. So this build is absolutely insane in terms of damage, and you're getting about 750 health. So it's not like you're not tanky at all. You get 750 health plus the Death Stance passive that reduces the likelihood that you get bursted out. So very good triple item build. Obviously finish your boot 1 somewhere in between there. Finish your boot 2 if you need to, depending on who it is. I've gone kind of like, look at this game. I've built 3 damage items before I get boots, or boot 2 rather. So you can delay your boot 2. It's not really that important anymore with the nerf to Merc Treads. I think the Ninja Tabbies are quite strong, even though they're a little bit expensive, but they're pretty good. So after you get your 3 core items, and that's what these 3 are, they cap you out at CDR, give you all the damage you're going to need. I like to go for a magic resist item or an armor item. Obviously, you can go with Maw. It got buffed and it's very, very strong right now. So Maw is really good, and also Banshee's Veil. So one of those items are really good. You can get Spirit Visage, but the problem is you'll go 10% over CDR cap, which kind of sucks, but it's not the worst thing ever. So if you really want to get Spirit Visage for the lifesteal, like you feel like you need that, you can still do that. However, I think Maw is probably your best AP or magic resist item. In terms of armor items, I personally like Dead Man's Plate the best. Gives you that extra movement speed, gives you that extra burst on your first hit. So that extra burst plus Titanic Hydra active plus your W damage. All of a sudden your W is doing like 1600, 1700 damage. Like it's obviously before resistances, so it gets pretty insane. So yeah, Dead Man's Plate. If you don't like Dead Man's Plate, or they have a lot of crit people / auto attackers, like maybe Vayne and Yasuo and Tryndamere, Gangplank, that type of stuff, you want to end up going for the Randuins instead. Or you could get a Thornmail. Thornmail's pretty good and pretty cheap. So, yeah, that's pretty much the whole build. You get 3 offensive items, and then you get 1 magic resist item and one armor item. It's really not much else than that. You cap out at CDR. You got a lot of lifesteal. You got a lot of health from these 2 items. So you end up with like 3k health, which is really solid. You're tanky enough. You're not tanky enough that you can tank 5 people at once. Okay, let's get that straight. You're not going to be able to like the super tank Renekton that can tank 5 people. But you're gonna survive burst. You're not gonna get like insta killed like a full AD build. You're gonna survive burst. You're gonna be able to return it, and you have crazy lifesteal and crazy damage with this build. It's pretty insane. I've been like topping the damage meters on almost every game I play. Um, I'm just very happy with the build overall. I think it's amazing. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I have over the past few days. Thanks for watching. Peace.